we'll continue on with the agenda, which is public comment. We're at 6:31. Any public comment? That's okay.
Hi,
Thank you for the people. Oh.
Christians. Doing a little thinking about this housing issue, whether it's affordable or not affordable, the housing supply among different other. So I decided to play along with the narrative a little bit, and was thinking about mathematical equations about the town of Waterbury. And I started out, I think you might be interested in this. So thinking as a contractor, we could build 100 houses a year for 5 years in the town of Waterbury. So that's 500 houses in 5 years. What kind of tax revenue would that generate? So single family home, couple and 2 kids, 3-bedroom. Average cost, which is possibly 550, 600,000. What do you suppose the property tax rate bill on that type of house would be, all in school and municipal? Right now.
You're here to tell us.
$8,000 a year. That's $800,000 additional revenue that would come to the town. Well, we all know that the town only gets 15% of that. That's $120,000 for 100 homes. Our budget increase last year was proposed to be 3%. I think if you do the math, it would figure about $150,000. Just standard year-over-year budget increase. It's anywhere from 2 to 4%. $150,000 around numbers. So if 100 town homes were built in the town of Waterbury, you'd be negative $30,000. That strikes me as a problem. It's just something to think about. And even if we could build 100 houses a year, we got to provide the jobs that are sustainable, paying wages to afford those properties. Where are those jobs coming from? So as we move forward, something to think about. I think the town has the ability to stabilize itself. If we start to think in different ways of perhaps approaching things. I think right now, the mass exodus that I'm seeing, and I was just telling a couple here that there was 4 people that I know of just this week alone that are leaving. One's leaving on the 23rd, our current resident. One of the richest men in Waterbury has had enough. He's out of here. So that means 2 rich people that I know in the town of Waterbury have had enough. But anyway, I think the town has the ability before it's too late. If I could request some time on the future agenda to have a civil conversation about what our plan forward looks like and what we realistically can afford. I'm really concerned about the young people's future, and I won't get into it. That's something we could put on the agenda. I can explain what I'm seeing, how I'm seeing it, and I would love input from the board. I want conversation about what we're doing with ourselves and how we're gonna make it so that people can live here.
So can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
The 19th we could, wait. The housing committee will be coming up. I don't know if you can pull up the schedule. 18th?
For that's supposed to be meeting.
I think they're on the next meeting.
They're here.
They're one of the committees that is scheduled to come in, and in lieu of their 10 minutes, they've asked for a significant larger portion of time. And I would suggest, and so they're coming in, and I would suggest that you reach out to Joe Camerata, because he will be the one making the presentation.
So he reached out to me, wanted to sit.
So stay in touch with him and plan on coming to that select board meeting, because that will be significant, it'll be strongly focused on housing.
Well,
Okay.
unfortunately, I'm slated to be out of town on the 15th. As it looks right now, unless things change. So I was thinking that I might be able to get some time in that next meeting, and I'm thinking to myself, I may not be here. But I want to talk about things like LOT money too,
Okay,
future projects, all that stuff that adds up to, you know,
okay.
birds we've got right now, plus birds we're.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to approving the previous minutes from May 19th. Oh, that's where I have minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes from May 19th.
All second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. On to the consent agenda. I think there's language that needs to change in these two. I don't think there's a change. Some, Don and you have had conversation about the Hill Ford.
Yeah, we met.
It never got in here.
Right, but the circumstances of it, I think, are understood. The reason the conversation, the language is in here about shutting off is for the purposes of DLC. And I think Don's concern was if there was an emergency, people would be have an exit, but that's not the case. People would have an opportunity to egress in case of emergency. This is just the DLC requires that there be a single entry with gated and control.
You can walk out, but alcohol outside of the alley.
Yeah, this is, sure, so you need to be comfortable.
Oh, no, yeah, no, I thought it was access. I didn't realize it was part of
Okay.
liquor control, so that's fine. Didn't mean to open or keep the works, but I just wanted clarity that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's good the way it's written? I take a motion to approve it as it's written.
The question about the second one, just to confirm that is about QID on the 27th, is that a date or time?
Yes, it is. Can we amend that so that it is clear? No, I know it,
So we can accept it with the understanding that it's for June 27th.
yeah,
With a rain date of the 28th.
with the rain date or the 20th. Cheryl, you with us? You're with us. Did I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Alright. Town boards, natural disaster preparedness, crew, and the fire department. And this is also, the natural disaster section is also gonna just include a conversation about the natural disaster preparedness coordinator. Who wants to go first? Crew or natural disaster? Or the fire department? Go on, what time?
It's nice out.
Nice stuff. If you need yourself and.
Oh, there we go. I'm the fire chief.
Thank you for coming.
Sure, so not having any information on what you're looking for, just do that, so. And then if you want,
No rules, yes, 10 minutes. That's it.
I don't need that long, unless you need it.
So, I will step back because
Sure.
I know I'm a big advocate of this process. The process is to bring the committees to the select board and give committees, boards, community representatives an opportunity to ask us questions, you know? But also for us to ask you, let us know what's on your mind, what's working, what's not, whatever fills your 10 minutes or less. And just have this open conversation in person, which is the best part.
I absolutely support
Thank you.
it. So I'll just give you the brief bullets. Currently, we have 36 members. That is significantly less than pre-pandemic, where we had some that got done. Some, quite honestly, had been around for 20, 25, 30 years and had just gotten done because it was 25, 30 years. We had some that moved out of state. What we have is a good crew. Of those 36, we have 12 what we call quarter-century club members. So they all have over 25 years. 8 of those 12 officers have that. So we've got a pretty experienced leadership, and we got great leaders within the firefighters. Some of our firefighters, quite honestly, would likely be officers in other companies, but we just don't have that opportunity. We have one half-century member. He's this past March has 62 years. That's Bob Grace. He was the fire chief when I started. We have 9 pieces of apparatus, not including our pontoon boat, which typically we use at the reservoir when people go camping across the water. And they put out there so that we needed a way to get across there. Bought it, we used a number of years ago when Bill was here. We refurbished it a little bit. We have 1 tower truck. That is our oldest truck. Right now, we are waiting to hear back from the vendor that we use to do a lot of our work. There are hydraulic pistons that stabilize the truck, and we're told that at the very least they need to be rebuilt. We're hoping they can be rebuilt because they're $17,000. So we don't want to do that. But we're still waiting back. They do a lot of good work. We have 2 frontline, what we call attack engines. They're the main fire engine that pulls out of the stations for fires. We have 2 tank trucks, 1 heavy rescue that has all the education and stabilization stuff that we need. We have a mini pumper, utility pickup. We have a brush truck, and that makes up what we have for apparatus. As of today's call, we have 119 calls for the year. That is about average. Typically, first part of the year, the numbers are getting high, and then as summer kind of stabilizes, and then as the fall and the beginning of the winter comes in, they'll pick back up. So there's no rhyme or reason why we have what we have for numbers. It just is what it is.
You know what the dominant call is?
Well, it used to be crashes, but since the state really picked up the pace on the interstate and applying material before the storm comes in, it has slowed our crashes down. You still have a number of incidents on the interstate where people see a car that slid off the road, and rather than stopping and seeing if they hurt, they call 911, which means that we have to go. A lot of times we will call the state police before we leave to see if they have a trooper in the area and how far that trooper might be. If within a couple minutes, we wait. If they're a long ways away, or if it's in the middle of the night, we could be waiting for the ambulance. So we'll just go. But right now, it's kind of a hodgepodge of a little bit of everything, a lot of alarms. We go to carbon monoxide, smoke detectors. We do a fair amount of mutual aid to the our surrounding communities. We are, pardon the phrases that you might not understand, so when there's a working fire, um, in Montpelier, we may go to what's referred to as the first alarm, which is calling in mutually. We're number one on the fence, so we go to Montpelier. A lot of times we get turned around, sometimes we get asked to stage at their station. But there is no standout as far as top of the list. Our daytime calls can be problematic, like anybody else. So we deal with that. We might have 4 or 5 initially. If it comes in as a working fire, we can usually get more because people are working and they say, you know, I'm going to leave work for this. You know, we have the whole new contract issue with municipal employees, and that has an impact, pension, because we have some new fund members. We're not getting into the politics of the politics well, but they have to make a decision. Either they're going to go to a call, which means they either don't get paid or they use a card, or they don't. So that's an issue beyond me, which is what we have. As of yesterday, I applied for a grant, probably would get it, through Forest and Parks. It's a matching grant that we already have money for. It's just going to expand motion. Yeah. It's stuff that we use. It just means that we can get more Indian bags, we can get more wildland gloves, helmets. You don't want to use a regular structural firefighting helmet when you're chomping really woods.
How much do you guys do? How does it work with like snow mountain rescue or?
We don't.
We're not that,
We are not that at all,
yeah,
which I'm very happy.
yeah,
The Waterbury ambulance has a crew that does some of that stuff. They go and they go up to Camel's Hump, they go up other mountains, they go mutual aid. Before they started, we did it. It's not fun. So when we now call Waterbury Backcountry goes, enjoy. Because they literally are going up to the top of Camel's Hump. There's at 7 o'clock at night, somebody realized that they're not going to make it all the way back down. You don't have any flashlights. So it's for some of their calls are preventable on the part of the first units. Some people legitimately get hurt when you help. So.
Gary, can I ask a question on the 36 members, 12, 13, or 25 years old, right? Experience. What's the rest of the makeup? Is it just a mix of ages?
Yeah.
Is there a younger cadre of folks? No.
Well, it'd be great if there was more.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, we do. We have some younger people that are coming up. We've got one that is, I'm sorry, 2 that are graduating this year. One from Hurley, one from Rice. They have a lot of, you know, they decide to stick around. We got work for them. We have a lot of few people that are within the first couple of years. We have some that have 10 years. We have some that have 15 and 20 years. So if we can just keep getting some more younger people, right? If somebody's 40, 50 and they want to join, we'll take them. But they've got to go through training. And that is for some people, as they get older, don't want to dedicate time because it's over 300 hours training just to get the level 1 certificate. When I started, it was with Fire Chief Ernie Flanders from Montpelier. It was 45-hour essentials. But I said, since taking it again, I will not take a third time. It's way too much time. So that's kind of it.
you have a question for us?
No, I really don't.
Roger,
When are you gonna be coming to ask us about your next truck?
Right now, the next truck is significantly, less expensive. It's a pickup truck. It's a pickup truck.
Yeah. Sure. Do you have to have it specially outfitted?
Well, it has lights and stuff, but we can probably, it may be, depending on what we do with the other trucks. I know that when Tom was here, there was a discussion about backcountry wanting it. I don't care, if they want it.
With command vehicle?
Well, it's not, problem is, it's a Ford, F-350 crew cab with a long bed, and I don't know how they're gonna turn that around in a parking lot with a trailer. But after it's gone, I really don't care. Where it goes, they can chop it in half if you want, I don't. So we would go back, we would go to a crew cab, a super crew cab, or full-size doors, in the short stuff. And functionally looking, we could look at if they have them at that point. 250, it's kind of a hybrid, you know. Or sometimes it just sits there. That's it. That's the only thing we're looking at in the future. Anything after that will be somebody else's problem. Sure.
Anybody else have a question? No. Question for us?
No?
What kind of, I have one more. Okay. What kind of, just talking about like recruitment, you know, what do you guys do? I mean, I ride out, so I don't really see what's happening with them.
Comes out.
I know, I should. But like going to school, you're too young for that, I guess.
No, it really isn't, because the school at Public has had, career days. We have gone to that, when we've been invited. I don't know if they've done it the last couple of years or not. We have done that. A lot of it is word of mouth. We don't do advertising.
Yeah,
Other departments have tried that and it really just didn't get them anywhere. Because if people have an interest or they don't. Speak to them to come help. Doesn't really, no real payoff.
yeah.
Word of mouth or friends. Sometimes when you get one high school kid, you get two, maybe three.
Maybe talk to the school board about.
Well, yeah, we have a setup that for Harwood, if they get on the fire department and we can track their training and their time, they actually get, it's like a half.
That's cool.
So that's something I worked out with the counselors many years ago. And it's not much, but it's better than kicking a rear.
Yeah,
Just introduce yourself.
Mike Casey, so since we have, three here tonight, we have NDTC, we have a little bit of, would you be willing to take a minute for people who are not familiar with the various stages of emergency response? Sure. Fill folks in on the role of either the fire department or the mass emergency.
Sure.
Great question.
So during the event is the emergency. And sometimes thereafter. And that falls under our crew. And before people go up into houses or doing whatever it is that they're doing, they need to make sure it's safe. And we can go there, we have meters, and just check to make sure that there's no gases or anything else that might be in that case. So that's kind of the crossover. It's not an absolute line. But we don't want you going into a building that isn't safe. Including buildings, and we've seen, that are flooded but still have power. So your first step will jar. So that's yes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
We have had incidents where people have gotten to a place and all of a sudden they're starting to clean it out and just feel, we can go there and help. And contact direct people. Here, not, I mean, by communities. Not.
Lawrence. We missed road closures, things like that, those are more
Falls under us.
your department.
Yeah, and we don't wanna close down a road initially if we don't have to, because that means people can get home or leave home. So we will leave them open till we think zero. And then if you're shut down for a reason, so don't drive through the water. Which happens every flood, every flood. They should just stop talking about that on the show.
See, that was more than 10 minutes.
Was it
You
really?
did great.
I'm sorry.
There's one more question. Yeah, yep, sure, that's, introduce yourself here.
Terry, Economics, Parko, Sherry, thank you so much.
So you're not?
No, I was.
All right. Perfect.
I have my great respect. I have a concern about how there's road. And we've talked about this, I think, in past meetings, not with the select board, but yes, select boards. You were talking about decline in recruitment. Where do you feel your department will be if we grow essentially? Meaning like we've had 90 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes here and there, and we haven't increased. And we have to evacuate. Will your department be capable of handling all of that?
If not, we are part of the mutual aid system.
Mhm.
So we can just keep call Stowe, which is our number one mutual aid department. We know that when we call them, we're getting a pull through, we're fire. We can branch out. Literally, we could branch out as far as we needed to. Go to Groton, go to East Montpelier, go anywhere. So that, it takes time. But yeah, and with the, state alert system. So if people actually have it use on the middle of the night and there's big gas. Right, but during Halloween, we sent 4 different crews out in different directions and banged on doors. Many people were already starting to leave. Some just woke up and didn't realize that there was a flood. Some chose not to leave, and then as it got worse, still chose not to leave. And then when it was too late for us to go get them, they said they wanted to leave. So we told them to go upstairs. So sometimes you have to live with the consequences. But, sure.
Thank you. Good.
That's it.
Thank you.
Sure. And if anybody, if you want to take a look at the stages, just reach out. I can explain what trusts are.
Truck. Hose.
There's all kinds of different sizes.
No, thank you for sure. Who wants to go next? You guys wanna all come up together? All right, we're done. Mike, you wanna come up and you the mutual conversation?
So there, yeah. Yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you guys for coming in. Introduce yourselves for the board and the record.
Sure. My name is John Malter. I'm the chair of the National Heritage Committee.
I'm Vicky, I'm kidding.
I'm Casey, I'm in the director of the group. It's communities and stuff a lot right now.
Almost already done.
Sure. Well, it's just a little background. We've been
around since, formed back in, October 2023. The committee started up a 5-member committee in 2024. We meet once a month here, and we've developed a working document, the natural disaster response manual, and we've established a volunteer contact list that we've developed over time. We've held some trainings. We started with mucking back in February, and we just had an assessment training last month, and we're planning a third training in July dealing with inventory, running, assessing, bringing support to folks out in the field. We see our place as being support. Well, after the fire department has said, yes, the electricity is off, you can now initiate response to folks in the community that have immediate needs for cleaning out, assessing their property, doing the initial help to assist in whatever the burden might be for them. We also look at ourselves as being the first line for crew, which I see as more of a long-term operation, and whatever we can do to fold in with them is really critical to this whole operation. Our need, though, is to make sure we keep up to date with the training, with the inventory of material, with our manual, with making sure if we have an event, supplies that are expended are replaced. If things are put out in the field, that they're tracked and brought back, and that we have adequate personnel to support. And one of the keys has been the establishment of a disaster response coordinator working within the community that is on the books, so to speak, as well as our volunteer corps. I look at our volunteer group as support for this individual. That individual is more of a organizer and keeping track of things. And then when there is an emergency, then that person would be more of a full-time on the scene of helping to deal with whatever issues come up. And so we need to have somebody that had that flexibility, but also had some support financially. And we do have, currently the select board has budgeted $10,000 for this fiscal year for that individual. And Danny Kelman had been in the position, and she resigned from it back in March. And we just are looking to replace that individual as soon as possible so we can move forward. Those are the main concerns.
Is there anything we can do to help that ability? You know, I'm just throwing this out to anybody here. I don't have an answer. I don't have an idea even.
Well,
But
before I go any further, I spoke with Alec Tuscany, and he's not available tonight, and he wanted to talk with me further about some of the responsibilities. And he said he can do that until next week, as far as that goes. But I believe Danny was hired directly by Tom. So that was how that transpired.
well, the position's posted on the website, right?
No,
Oh, it's not?
position has not been a description or call for applications has not been provided.
Okay.
Right.
If that, I guess if that, Alec conversation doesn't involve further, maybe work with, Woody to get a description that we can post on the website. Sure. Other folks put it in front porch forum, yeah.
Right.
But getting the word out is gonna probably help.
I think the important thing is that we have the luxury of doing this not in a moment of a crisis.
Exactly.
And it really is important to be, thinking through all these things, and the most important thing is to make sure we have all the equipment we need, have it in places that are appropriate and accessible, and make sure that they work, and make sure that they're able to be tracked. And that's another question, is that we're looking to have the stuff stored here for now. The possibility of the old armory across from Brookside as a question mark because of changes that may be going on with that property.
It was like an ongoing conversation with the municipal managers.
Sure. Roger?
I guess I'd ask the question right back to you. Do you feel that you do have adequate volunteer corps and adequate equipment? And is there anything besides the coordinator? Is
Well, we've had between 10 and 20 people that have participated in our training. We have a list of about 50 that have indicated their interest. So we do have a larger cadre to be able to call upon. But what's really important is to make sure that the training continues to be in front of the people, and that we don't lose that. I mean, one set of 3 trainings is great, but you need to keep that going. I don't for a second say that that's adequate forever. And, on the job trainings, one thing, but I'd certainly much prefer to have people see photographs and talk with folks that have had to experience it already, and those that have already been involved. So that's parts of this thing. The other thing is getting a trailer to be able to put a portion of that material in so it can be mobilized and brought to various sites. Things like all the 5-gallon buckets with cleaning equipment, Tyvek suits, hoodies, any kind of other material that might be being used during the cleanup operation.
Talk to Gary Dillon.
no, well, I believe that was budgeted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was. And once again, that's where we're heading toward, but it would be good to have the coordinator on board rather
Make sure
than.
that there's.
Shepherd it over.
Right, exactly. I think the ownership part, I've got no problems with our committee, but I think that's a really important part of the equation.
I have a quick question. Yep, if this is a position that's paid, do we have to post it even if Alex is interested? I don't know. Do you know? If we have to post it?
I don't recall how they did it last.
Okay, I just didn't know because it's,
We gotta get a job description. Okay, post it.
isn't that what that is? Yeah.
Where is that?
Isn't this what you said?
It is what I sent you.
You should have got more.
If it came today, I didn't read it.
Okay.
I don't, yeah,
A while ago.
Yeah. From you.
it's from me.
That's why she's.
It was artificial intelligence.
Right.
So many things that go through here.
No, I sent that to you when knowing this was gonna be on the agenda
Oh, okay.
a while ago, as well as
Oh.
Danny's comments.
Those are the ones I didn't get to. I think I guess the message here is we hear you. We I think getting that coordinator on is an important piece of the puzzle to keep the momentum going forward, it sounds like, to fill all of these. To Sandy's question, you know, I guess I would suggest posting the position. And while you're talking with Alec and see if there's other community members interested in the position. If we don't ask, we don't know. So maybe an action item is to work with the town manager to get the position posted on the website at a minimum.
I think it was from Fort Swan. Let's see.
Good. Don't go away. Let's have Mike talk and see if there's one around here. Well, anyway.
So through, for those not, already familiar, stands for Community Resilience Waterbury area. We are not a town committee or board. We are a fiscally sponsored nonprofit. We're sponsored by Revitalizing Waterbury. And we were founded in 2023. Was. Core group came out of the folks who, many of whom were involved in that volunteer response in 2023, as well as some folks with legacy knowledge from 2011, which has been super. We served as the official long-term recovery group for the 2023 and 2024 floods. I use the word official, and there would be sort of capital letters on long-term recovery group. That is a designation that is recognized by the state and by FEMA, and so it allows us to communicate with folks in certain capacities that would be able to if we did not have that designation. A lot of the work that we do as a long-term recovery group, kind of comes with the name, help folks recover from the disaster. A lot of that work is related to obtaining assistance from FEMA, working through appeals, all of the fun stuff that probably a lot of people in this room are familiar with, better or worse. And a lot of it is patching together resources to help folks rebuild their year. Having had 2 back-to-back floods in 2 years, I would say we got pretty good at it. And we also ended up essentially leading the response in 2024 as well as the recovery. So while we have experience and certainly a lot to say on the response side of things, it is not really in our mission as community resilience and recovery organization. We're also not super aligned with our funding as the grant received as a recovery. So there's obviously a conversation sort of response period timeline. Garrett clears the roads for people to be on, but before people are feeling and so we're happy to see stand up, and I think job descriptions aren't on the screen anymore, but I think filling that position is a really critical step. Some quick numbers in 20, so as you mentioned, we covered Waterbury, Middlesex, Moretown, Duxbury, and Windsor. Basically in 2023, the flooding was more or less limited to the Winooski rising up. And those 5 towns are sort of a reasonable drive from this road. And Waterbury, it's the bigger town, it's kind of the downtown for some of our neighbors. 2024, we saw more flooding in the hills, we saw culverts going, we saw streams jumping the banks, and so getting a little further from Newski, into some of the further depths of stuff. That's our service area at the moment. It's those 5 towns.
Many of you, what would you say your teams,
Sure.
volunteers?
Yeah. So we have a board. That's approximately 7 people that are volunteers. We have a staff currently that has 2 full-time staff, including myself, 1 part-time staff. We did have a second part-time staffer who moved on in the spring, who had been with us through the thick of a lot of the response from 2024. But so we're at 2 full-time roles, 1 part-time role, 7 volunteers on the board, and then we have some a few different committees, group volunteers that are involved in these specific mitigation.
Like you get any funding from other communities? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
The funding comes through RW? No.
Yeah. So the follow-up question would be, do you get any money from Waterbury?
Yeah, how are you funding?
So at one point we did get I want to say it was $10,000-15,000 from the town of Waterbury. That was not for operations, it was actually for repairs, or maybe we developed a loan fund at one point.
For revenue,
Yes.
so it's not to support staffing of crew.
So we have had private donations, but the majority of our funding has come from TV.
State grant.
We did receive a one-time award from the state for staffing. 2025.
Might go back to the other.
Yes, please.
So John, Danny Conroe was the coordinator. What was the length of her time as coordinator and what did she accomplish? I mean, I see the list of all things here. Did she, I'm just curious what's in place.
Sure,
Tenure.
she was on board for, I think, a little less than a year. And she put together a lot of the inventory information and what the cost would be for some of the replacement equipment and what we needed for additional equipment. And she participated in our meetings. Those were the main things.
Yeah, I'm not being critical. Sure. So one of the things that says a key duty is to ensure there's a group of volunteers who are prepared to lead cleanup efforts. So is there people prepared to lead? Is that identified or?
And that would be, and that is part of what we do. I mean, we have, a mucking training. With the training, it was discussed as to the need that some people would be, designated as a team leader. And that would help direct the individual, teams to go into the different houses to do some of the activities. Cleaning out of the basements, moving of equipment and moving of furniture. We also want that information to the community at risk to prepare for flooding, to look at moving stuff out of harm's way, as well as prior to that, considering changing where some of your services are coming in to avoid having a shocking experience with high water affecting your infrastructure individually. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, because I was involved in Irene recovery,
Yeah.
pretty intensively. Not so much the 23, 24 club, but, and I just know that, Rebecca Ellis, who was the board chair at that time, stepped up and was the lead coordinator of the whole effort. And different people stepped up at the time,
Right.
well, food preparation, dumpsters and all that.
Right.
So are those positions, like, are they identified in here? Is it who does that, or?
The, that would
I was wondering how ready it is.
yeah, as far as we've got a list of, where dumpsters are available from like Myers and Casella. Food preparation, we're working with Rotary on making that available. We have contacts for that. As far as the individuals that do the training, we would ask people that would be interested in stepping up to lead smaller groups. We lead, like I said, we had between 15 and 20 folks that were involved in the training so far, and we anticipate continuing to grow those people.
So those are training leaders, not necessarily homeowners and.
Well, these would be the people that would be volunteering to come in to assist the homeowner. Ideally, if you've got able-bodied people within the home, they're going to be helping as well. That doesn't necessarily happen, unfortunately. And I think part of the education process is for people to recognize that as much as we're enjoying helping you out, you can come downstairs and be part of the fun. The party is open to anybody. And, we look at ourselves not as a volunteer fire department, but as people who want to assist the people that have had a really bad day to make that day a little bit brighter, to know that there are people that care and that are willing to come in and help clean out their places. And the individuals that would be the team leaders would be from that core of folks that we have. We would ask specifically for somebody to lead a group.
It seems like I remember that from Irene too. I mean, I was told, go over here and just start mucking, and that's kind of what you guys are setting yourselves up for, and to send out volunteers that don't. But it would be nice if we were trained.
Yes, and we would have a leader.
Yeah.
To go with that, and that's part of with the assessment, looking at what the individual homes need and what how many personnel and what kind of,
did all that up behind Thatcher Brooks, Brookside, whatever, yeah.
and then dealing with, where to place the material once it comes out of the houses.
Along the road, you remember the banks?
Yes, and then moving it over.
Yeah.
We had it over by the parking lot by Stanley Hall's parking area. So.
Any questions for, I think we've identified a couple of to-dos here, or ongoing communication, and I'm gonna I personally am deferring it to Woody, but if it's someone else, we talk about getting the job framed and posted and see where it goes from there. Is there other takeaways that folks have at the moment? We're hoping you'll come back again later in the year, so maybe by then we'll have a coordinator. And we'll learn if things are moving from where they are at the moment. I want to thank you, Mike. I know you're not a town committee or board, but I think it is.
Oh, yeah, but I, it's more to make,
No, I'm just,
people say, oh, you need town for the state of.
yeah, it's good. I'm just, and you're right, we do have a theme. That's why we did the fire department and we're trying to have some cohesion there. Because we all do have to work together when it comes to these kinds of issues.
Can I just, Betty here is on our committee. I know her appointment was over and she needs to be reappointed, and I don't know if that's anything else you wanted to add.
No, I'm sure it was over. I thought we appointed you. I didn't look into that, but I thought we were appointed you.
You know, Stacy, Torch was here for the reappointment, but Betty couldn't make
She
it.
didn't make it, but we voted to slate through.
Oh.
So I think we, can check the minutes, but I'm pretty sure we just saw your name and said yes.
She's great.
So thank you for coming to this. All right, do you have any questions for us?
I don't know if I have any questions. I would take the opportunity to plug the events that Crew has going
Please.
on. We just did a workshop last week on home resiliency. Some folks were here, but we are going to have a recorded version of that going up on our website soon, along with a resource guide to some talk about that. We have an upcoming workshop on flood insurance later this summer. We are going to be doing the build a rain barrel workshop, Makersphere, June. So we'll have a tent at Marks Fest. And so we're trying to, as we're at the tail end of the repair and recovery or trying to take advantage of blue sky times to do some pension. So I would say visit the Crew website, sign up for our email list.
I'm embarrassed to ask this, but do we have a link to on the town's website to Crew, or should we? Is it because it's separate, we don't, or is it under? I don't know how the website is set up.
Yeah.
I'm really bad that way, but I mean,
You're welcome.
I'm just thinking about if I were going to look for natural disaster help, FEMA, would I come across here the Crew on the town's website? And I don't know if we would or not. It just might be an interesting thing to think about.
Yep.
So,
I've not looked recently, so I don't know if you can, but.
all right, thank you, Paul, very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, we're a little bit behind, but very, very informative. Thank you. Municipal manager, which one do you want?
Let's start with the Woodard Hill stuff.
With the what?
Woodard Hill,
Oh, good.
This one or the other one?
the map
The
probably.
map is more
would
informative.
be. So as a point of reference, the state, Jim Duncan from the state contacted me with regards to the hope that the state of Vermont could conduct some road improvements on Woodard Hill Road in the area of Little River down there. Part of some clean water funds they have. And to do work on our roads, they would need the permission of the select board to sign off on that. Part of this proposal would include the fact that they would take care of the maintenance of the areas they work on for 10 years.
It's all part of the Clean Water Phosphorus Initiative to keep phosphorus out of the lakes and waterways. They would be also doing some work, I think, on some snowmobile trails in that area as well. Would like to do that work this summer. The work includes stone lining of ditches, resurfacing of the roadway, reshaping of the roadway. And they have, I think there's a more detailed plan, Sandy, somewhere.
Which one? No.
Well, that one will give you a point of road segments telling exactly what they will do. You know. You know, there's installation of new culverts, etc. I don't really see any issues for us. These are class 4 roadways, where we do limited work on them as it is. I've seen some of the work they did last year up in the Duxbury area, the Dowsville, Ward Hill area is excellent work. It should really improve the roadways down there. And I have reached out to the homeowners down there, property owners. Most seem pretty excited about it.
On Woodard Hill or Little River?
On Water Hill, yeah. They're all camps,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, I had a question about point number 4 in the MOA. That says the town may not make any modifications to the road segments that are subject to this agreement, yada, yada, yada. Does that mean that we couldn't do repairs on that stretch of road if we needed to for some reason?
Well, I don't think repairs would be an issue. I think any modifications, you know, for example, if they had stone line ditches and we removed them, or if they had turnouts, directing water away from waterways and altered those, you know, things that didn't work in opposite what their goals were. Yeah.
Any other questions? Roger?
Do you need our authorization to proceed with this?
Yeah, I think that one,
Motion to approve it.
I'll move to grant you the authorization to sign off on this agreement.
Second.
Final.
Use them.
Any further discussion?
For town roads if they're happening.
Yes, sir.
Woody, I've done work on that hill as well, and last time I knew, we really wrote for ditches anyway, say anything about stone line ditches.
yeah.
They're gonna achieve that.
Well, I'd have to look directly to the points they did there. I mean, a lot of the work happens past the hill on the flat section up through there. I think in that section, obviously, just be kind of reshaping the crown. That would be my guess. There is no ditches either side. The crowning of it, the work they did in Duxbury and Moortown over there. Putting the material on the top that had a decent crown, and they rolled it, compacted it, they did the whole 9 yards, you could sort of wheeled a wheelchair up there on the Ward Hill now, so when they were done,
Anyone else? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thanks for the next.
Yep. All right, so it came across somebody's desk, a grant application for 2026 AOT Bike and Ped Program, sidewalk improvement grant. Neil filled this out. It is a maximum grant amount of $150,000, but it is a 50-50, so we would be required 75,000 in local money or in-kind services. So the question is, would you like to apply for some grant money for sidewalks? We do have money in our budget for sidewalk work this summer, approximately $150,000. But it's a question of, would you like to apply for this grant? We would prioritize Wallace and North Main Streets where the sidewalks are currently 4 feet. Which is too narrow for the sidewalk plow and really too narrow for people to walk side by side, honestly. Everything else in town is at least 5 feet now. And there's one new section of sidewalk down Winooski Street on the west side of the street. That would connect where the sidewalk ends, basically connect it to the Winooski Street Bridge. And I don't know, we obviously, we might not be able to accomplish all this, but the question remains, would you like to apply for the grant?
I just want to add, this came to us as a benefit from Mike Hedges, who is on the Regional Planning Commission Transportation, previous AOT engineer. And so he brought it to Neil, my attention, I think, and so we just passed it on. Because the lot money has already allocated some, that would save part of it if it is awarded. I mean, personally, I don't see the downside of it, but to reduce our costs. Roger?
Yeah, I think, this, leverages another $75,000, that we were planning to spend anyways. I think that we would want to apply for.
Any other comments? Take a motion to approve filing the grant application. I also want to go, I'm sure to please thank Neil, has done the lion's share of pulling the grant application together. They're working with Mike Hedges and workers. And that as far as I can see.
So I'll make a motion to extend an application for 2026 featuring small scale bicycle pedestrian recreation.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, brief update on Randall Meadow. Still in the AG's office and still in the property management office for the state as to getting the final sign off on that, before we can finally own that meadow. They've been sitting on it for almost a month now. And I haven't heard a word since they went to their offices. The RFP for the environmental assessment services for Randall Meadow is due back on the 11th of June. There have been a little bit of interest. I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of interest. Time will tell on June 11th when the proposals will drew in. It's a big project. I'm not sure where we're going to land on that. But one big firm expressed a little bit of interest. So, but we can see a lot of yeah. So at least maybe we get one. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Yeah. The next up is the Stanley Wasson review of the DEW pre-development agreement. And I think we've seen this in pretty much the same form with a few changes here or there. We can go through it if you'd like, or what would you like to do?
Just review the changes that were enacted in this from the previous version we saw.
Yeah, might take me a minute to bring up the changes, but yeah. It's been back and forth a few times, and there may be,
Here's a question, since there's a tree. Question. How the, is that environment? We asked the question about communities. Just to confirm that the environmental studies, wait,
Randall Meadows.
yeah,
Oh, okay, sorry.
yeah, sorry, that's right. The environmental studies, should the result come back unfavorable, we are not buying. Isn't there still an option to not buy the meadow? That's what the previous select board said, so. We can buy something, we can't use it.
That's a technical.
Well, buy is a strange term, but they-
There's no.
yeah, yeah,
She can just, okay.
yeah. Um. Amy, would you like me to email this further to that? I mean, there.
Can you just summarize?
Yeah, there was really just a little bit of cleanup of the timeline.
Right,
Um,
Oh, is that still about, that's not about, right, thank you.
yeah, the pre-development agreement, extending out from 3 months to 6 months options. Clarification of, what we get as far as their reports, what we're entitled to. It was virtually,
it's mostly cleaner, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure terms were clear.
1 year, in
Something like that.
correcting town and where it should say, and not a lot changed from the previous version.
Sandy, if you could scroll down to about, all right, Secret 10. 10 says periodic updates, 10 is just periodic updates. Now scroll on down to about 16, I think. This is the only question I have, right there you go. So 16 says, about 2/3 down, it says, times the parties have finalized and executed an option to purchase described in section 10. I think that should be corrected to be section 12 or 13, because 12 and 13 are what describe the option to purchase, if you want to scroll back up to 12 or 13. There you go. So that would be, if there's action taken on this, I think that needs to be correct. And when I read through it, I agree with Woody, there's one change where
In number 13, changing it from 3 to 6 additional months.
yeah, if they want to extend it, it used to say 3, and now it says 6. I think, I'll make a comment on this. One of the things I had a concern about was that if there's discussion to move it forward, it was unclear as to how the town could get, how long they would tie up the town and not make a decision, say that. So they might have all their permits or not have all their permits, and then it said something about continuing to secure financing. Well, I don't know how long that could take, and so we're trying to get them to, I think it now says a year, they have a year to make a decision, if you will, and so that the town's not tied up to it. Okay. But that's why I think that lets them 3 to 6 months.
So a question I have, number 14. On the last one, place is downstream decides not to be involved in phase of the project, the developer reevaluate the affordable house phase for feasibility. And may request an extension. I'm concerned that their downstream may not want to be involved, could be some conflicts that, anyway, I'm just concerned that they could just reevaluate and say it's all gonna be, it won't be affordable off the market. Downstream didn't want to be involved. I wanted for the town to be a third party in that, to make sure that I'm just more suspicious that would be handy.
Well, is that what the last sentence says? In this instance, the town and the developer will work cooperatively.
No, it just says to identify
Sure.
another. There aren't many others, right?
Well, I mean, the other could be the town. So that's kind of,
Well, if we're to identify another affordable housing partner,
well,
so who,
the town could be, that's what I think you're saying.
I would just like to see the town involved in case there's some, disagreement between those two parties or party to that.
Yes,
I just-
but this says the town and the developer will also work cooperatively to identify another affordable housing partner.
That's kind of what it's saying.
Yeah, the way I read it is if Down Street doesn't want to be rolling, we look for somebody else.
We look for somebody else
Work together.
in cooperation with them.
Right.
Any questions? Other questions from the board?
Is there gonna be a stormwater?
Yeah, there's.
I'm just wondering, issues like stormwater and, the impacts of Cornfield, Randall Street. That be part of the requirements of this permit process for what moves forward, or just part of the proposal,
I think there's language in here, saying they're not, you have it?
Developer shall also consider the viability of incorporating compensatory flood storage into the project.
Oh,
It doesn't say that happen there.
No.
Developer shall also work cooperatively with the town to carefully evaluate the impact of the project on neighboring properties and the Randall Street neighborhood in the event of any indication of flooding.
Any other questions? Take a motion. Probably take an action.
Part about flooding isn't maybe as strongly worded as I would have liked, but I think it does guarantee that they have to take it into consideration in a pretty big way.
doesn't say they guarantee it or they're considering.
Well, they shall evaluate the impacts. Whether the flood storage ends up being in the project or not is just something they're going to consider.
What's the board's pleasure?
I will move to approve the development.
Authorize.
Authorize.
Exit.
I have a question. Or do you want to wait
Well,
a
we have
second?
a second.
I'll second it.
Roger seconds it. Sandy?
So I'm assuming this has gone through our lawyers and they,
So,
yeah, I'm sure.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item,
so Woody Avenue Housing Planning, the RFP is out and back. We had, 3 responses to that, which was not bad. They're being reviewed now by the committee. Evan's a member of the committee, myself, Alec, Neil and Dana. So we're looking at those 3 proposals. Hope to have an answer to them shortly with what we like. I again think 3 was a pretty good turnout for a project like that. At least it makes it appear competitive, so. Yeah.
what's the next step?
So next step would be, we've got a scoring matrix out, we're scoring, we're gonna choose the consultant, and I think we would come here to make sure you folks are good with the choice. And then from that point, I think, they've got 30 days to start work.
Any further questions? Next item?
Next item, let's see.
Oh, it looks like you're might be done.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody tomorrow, the demonstration project begins up in Waterbury Center. So expect, changes in the traffic pattern
Oh, on the green.
on the green, a lot of workers working out there, some road closures tomorrow. So that'll be a whole new thing come Thursday, so be aware of what you're driving, how you're driving.
How are we getting the word out? Or,
Well, I mean,
People see
It
it
was
on.
just published today and sent out in the monthly newsletter. There's a whole page on it. And I am putting it on social media for the morning. Awesome.
I have a quick question about that. When you're heading from Bethel Road towards, you can't see the stop sign. It's covered with there's a shrub there that's,
yeah,
you cannot see it at all until you're there. And the people that
yeah,
travel it every day.
we might move that. Yeah. That's a bad, because
Yeah,
I don't know if they're not
Line
lined.
already, you moved around a little bit.
No, different line, but it's that, as you know, that intersection has bad visibility.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much closer it can get to the road.
is that a right of way? Can we trim that tree?
Oh, we could, but that's never possible.
No. It's not.
It's gonna be the new one.
Oh,
Yeah, the new one, the freeway.
We can maybe get it a little closer.
And I personally have had a few comments about it because, and I did tell people that this is the study and that it may not be permanent, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the position is on that, but there was some feedback.
do we send comments through Duncan or, how is it managed?
Maybe somebody in the audience would like to speak to that.
Hi. There is, at least one. I will have a story that I need to publish on, and we'll be sending out an email tomorrow morning that has that news at the top as well. But I wanted to make sure that I double check a couple of the details to make sure that actually adding the road closures, and I think as a separate thing on that post, I'll do as well. There is a Google form that is soliciting input from the Better Connections Committee. And I have the link to that from Kate Gallagher that is going to do the story that I have, and I haven't looked at Cheryl's piece yet. Do you?
They have not provided me with any of that information. I did not know that they already set up a response form.
They have a response form set, but it hadn't been put on the website yet, and Katie had given me the link to it, which when I clicked, it worked.
Right.
So I'm gonna share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not on the website because they didn't send it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so she was saying that they were gonna put that, they wanted to get that live once the project started. So I assume that that's like one of the next steps is for them, as part of the messaging around it says, what do you think? And here's how people can submit, and it's a multi.
Can you sort of ask Katie to connect with Cheryl with the money?
I will reach out.
Okay, you will.
Because,
All right.
now already stuff I've put out is out of date because I didn't know that the feedback form was already created.
It hasn't gotten, it's not put live on, I looked on their website today and they don't have it listed there. It's not on the story map or anything like that. So I think they just created, but they hadn't gotten to the point of like issuing it yet, to here's how to do that. That could be the next step. But they are planning on gathering that information in an organized way that's going to be in a Google form. That will be very easy for them as they collect it to then when you can hit on a Google form, so they get like the responses and the charts and all that kind of stuff. So they're able to have good feedback and share it.
Well, anyone that has contact with or can reach out to Duncan and Katie, I encourage you to encourage them. The more outreach they do, the better information. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna help.
The work that's gonna get done, is it just one day and it's all?
It'll be one day, we hope it's one day.
Okay, so it's not a.
Roger?
Don't we need to go through a formal process with the AOT, put up a stop sign?
Yeah, we talked about that at one of the previous
Yeah.
meetings. I felt as though with it being temporary and then not having the proper 60 days or whatever we have to have ahead of time, the fact that it would most likely not be enforced, that it was probably not necessary to go through that process. It would be through you, not through.
I was gonna say, if it's a town road versus a state road, does that make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, it would be your approval.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
so,
It's important to change.
And I think we approved this on a trial basis, but then if, a
Yeah,
decision at the end of this trial, which is to end in, August.
yeah, yeah.
Then I think we would need to
It'll
go
come
through
back to
that, process
Yeah.
of determining if there's gonna be a permanent, stop sign. And that will be done.
So is Beth ready for some phone calls?
Yeah, yeah.
Town clerk's got what is going, yeah.
it's the phone soon.
Because you know, people will not know anything about.
Miss it,
Yeah, they have a clue with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you good? What-
Yeah, I believe I am. Yeah.
All right.
Carter?
Oh, yeah,
Come on up, it's about proposal. Not the last name.
what?
It's still about proposals, not moving, I have a backtrack.
We're on Stanley Watson, is that what you said?
No,
What are we on?
I just wanted to go back to, well, first I want to please respectfully ask that if the select board is going to take an action on an agenda item to make it like, oh, let the public be aware, like this was an actionable item, Stanley Watson, and it really just said a review. So I'm respectfully asked if you're going to take an action on an agenda item to just say actionable item. I think that's just respectful to the public. Just asking.
Anything is actionable or not,
Well,
not?
I guess I would say as someone from the public reading your agenda, I would think that you're just gonna review it. I think, you know, if you look at the open meeting laws, they do recommend, maybe require just a more specific action.
We'll do the best we can. Thank you.
And then back to Randall Meadow. So I know it's something that's transferable, but there are environmental studies. So we're contracting for that, I think. I heard. So we're gonna contract for it, we're gonna get a report. It could show contamination. What are we gonna do? What are we doing the study for? Are we going to cease the transfer? Are we gonna be liable for it? How did that go?
Was the RFP posted, the RFP is posted on, I believe, under the Randall Meadows website. And so you can read what is being requested for the work.
And then are there like guidelines, and if it's this, we do that? I mean, are we gonna get the property and it's gonna be our responsibility regardless of the report? Because that's money to do something or not. Do we want property that's contaminated?
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, Valerie, why have you expressed interest in the town manager search committee community?
Yeah.
I
Saw it.
can't seem to find your email, but
Can you,
just resend that. to me.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
it's coming. Tucker, here. Special events application for Ghost Gate Day celebration.
But our animal control officers, and then she would like, we've had her, it's on there. I just would like to let her leave earlier, at least, unless you've got lots of things ahead of her.
I was asked to move the Ghost Gate up.
Okay, okay. Do your thing, yeah.
Awesome. But Tucker's not here, so we can move it back.
Okay.
You wanna do? It's up to you. All right, since he's not here, I would say let's do the animal control officer position.
Marie, that's you? Yeah.
Please go ahead and introduce yourself. We're very anxious to meet you.
Okay. Hello, my name's Marie. I'm from Kingsbury. Stone area.
So we've been searching for an animal control officer for quite some time. Marie's name came to us and I checked her references. Had her come in for an interview. She comes highly recommended. She can tell you about her background. But I checked with the folks in Stowe and they all speak very highly of her.
A little bit of my background, I've been doing, I run a dog care business, did it for 16 years. To try and dog training and do dogs inside and out, so there's that. I'm a first responder for Stowe area.
You're in Stowe, you live in Stowe?
I do.
Is that where your business is too? What's the name of your business if I can?
It's called Dog Gone Running.
What's that?
Dog Gone Running.
Have you worked as an animal control officer previously?
I am for the service. And I've been doing was a volunteer for 3 years and a hired position 2 years ago, so.
So you're gonna continue doing the stone, you also want to do Waterbury?
What kind of number of calls or frequency are you called? There.
No, it's, it's a tough one, because I think once people start understanding there's an animal control officer, you also.
Yeah.
When I started, they kind of mentioned that we didn't get a lot of, issues, but now I think it's been 3 or 4 a month. Yeah, we also know a lot of people in the town of Stowe, so a lot of people come to me for guidance. If any time a dog is found running and stuff, really with anything, dogs rolling, barking, all of it, so it also goes up because I do so many
So, as a point of reference, Stowe and Marie have been handling some of our calls and the goodness of their heart because we don't really have with them.
So my question relates to the health officer and the point that Bill Sheffield was making, and I don't know this world at all. What happens there?
Well, I asked Marie if she would like to be health officer as well. And she has yet to say no. So Bill's appointment runs out July 1.
Right.
It would have to be a recommendation from this board to have Marie's name put to the State Department of Health. They make the appointment of health officer for the town.
But when it relates to.
The majority of the health officer calls now are dog bites.
Dog bites, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
But you're responsible.
So you're.
So, we do the same thing as Stowe, correct? I like have our health officer deals with dog bites, but then I do all, get up. We have rules, for Waterbury. I don't know if it's the same or different than the water process. Whereas these dogs have quarantine for 10 days at home. So that's where I also have to make sure that they're registered within the town.
How often does it happen? Within all the instances, you said 3 or 4 months. How often the dog bites? Oh, that's fair.
They're going up. They've been going up more. I think last year I had a total of 4 or 5. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I think we already had 4 this year. So.
What's the remedy for a barking dog?
Why is it barking?
I don't know, but I do know that my neighbor has a new dog. You have a neighbor on the other side. There's big issues with the voice of this dog being excessive. And they asked me about it. I said, I do not know the remedy for a barking dog, so I don't know.
It could be several things. Most of the times, top dogs are barking. They're alerting people. There might be something. Maybe smell like. Also, a lot of people put their dogs in their backyard. They're more, walk and be out and adventure. There's reasons for something. There's the dogs probably. It's just my thought. The dogs probably support.
That's largely ignored,
Seems to.
except for by the neighbor, who's getting a lot of attention to this. Yeah.
Would you be writing tickets for unleashed dogs that fall under your purview as animal control officer, and is it something that you would actually be doing in person?
That I'm not sure, I don't know, but you hear is Waterbury is stoked too. But again, we. Dogs can be the, which is not always there. Control, which is, was at the time, but, it's, there is like, we have kind of that little bit of, most of the time when I'm ticketing people, it's more or less their dog is roaming without someone around. Or not within voice range. A lot of times I like to educate people before I start like attacking them with tickets and stuff. I think people are more apt to listen better, kind of educate.
That you would be inappropriate to have to go through some US complaints about that.
Yeah.
Maybe, what do you want to explain? This is a contract position, so there's a frame of what the responsibilities are. How do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, Marie's had a chance to look at our dog ordinance. I offered her an hourly rate, and mileage, knowing that some months there'll be nothing. And as you said, she may have 4 calls next week, you know, the health officer deal is paid a little bit. It currently billed, it's a stipend monthly. But we could work out something with her here as well for that.
I just want the board to understand how she.
I think
She's not an employee, it won't be an employee, that's what I guess I kind of want everybody to understand.
It's a contracting position.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Mike Bard, just out of curiosity with this discussion, I know you're talking about dog bites, but, health officer has to deal with issues of cleanliness and stuff like that, people who, you know, basically their homes are junkyards. And how between Woody and, or how would you deal with that kind of issue? Because that to me is as much of an issue as the dog housing.
Not 100% familiar with health officer stuff, but I do know Stone. Brian was the health officer there, it's a lot of conversation. A lot of it, unfortunately, and so fairs getting the trash. Right, like people just not doing what they do. So as much as I know with them, a lot of it is just conversation, it's not a lot of stuff.
You know, I was when I was chair of the select board, work when Bill Sheffield was town manager. And so, you know, we dealt with a few issues with people who, you know, their homes were kind of a health factor. And maybe that just needs to be worked out.
Yeah, along
We're
with,
ahead of ourselves, I mean, this conversation is pretty.
Right, I don't know if it's so well,
Well, but, I mean, this would give Marie, right, it would be Marie an opportunity to, you know, be on board, if you will, and be working with Woody in the community. And then as the end of July comes around, there should be conversations with respect to the health officer.
and along the appointment of, if Marie accepts the
Right.
health officer position, deputy health officer is often appointed, somebody who would, you know, I've offered to lessen her burden with, you know, rental housing, stuff that, you know, and just the natural combination of dog bites, getting the health officer involved, which is 99% of what the health officer does now.
Okay.
And those issues are gonna be more community based.
Yes.
town manager.
But I think we have time to
Yeah,
to work together, yeah.
I think the animal is searching for 8 leads to have a
Yeah.
animal control, and I think, thank you for stepping up to the plate of offering your service.
Thanks, Mike. Any other, Roger?
I'll move to authorize the town manager to engage Marie as animal control officer.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Peter.
Nice to meet you. Do you want to rearrange anything else here, Woody?
No,
Let's do the Star Skate Day celebration. Prizes are approved.
We're just looking for use of the field.
Who's the skate park?
Kind of road,
Yeah.
there's no traffic control, all that, but we'll just using facilities.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see anything of any great concern here.
Yeah, my
We'll serve
own,
hot dogs and play some music at the skate plant. And
Yep, and it's limited noon to 4.
It's we're rural celebration of the solstice.
nobody's here representing. My only suggestion would be, maybe contacting some of the neighbors, if this is gonna happen, give them a heads up. So, you know, that could be nap time if they're watching it, maybe or something.
We drop the soap.
There's a house right near there that has a lot of issues with the playground. Not many houses, just one in front, maybe if you know, fire stations. For the rest of it's all,
I can reply to his email and ask him, in letting.
just give me a heads up, just so they.
Right, and ask him to make sure that he reached out for me. Go for
I'll move to approve the application with those conditions that you cited.
Second.
it. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Municipal manager position search status. You wanna take this? Would you mind just dictating
What are we allowed to say? Yeah.
our schedule, just the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, identified some candidates at executive session. We are going to do a first round during the week of June 8th. I believe, let's see how many.
We're gonna, the select board is.
Is gonna interview.
Do brief interviews with a
in
number
the
of.
first round. And then narrow it down to 2 or 3 out of 5, and then those formal interviews will take place the week of the 16th.
There'll be a staff interview process, a community interview process, and a board interview process. Each candidate on one day. So we are still looking for more interested community members that would like to participate in the community
Yeah.
interview process. We'd like to get 6 or 7 people. I think we have.
We have 4 right now, we'd like 7, spread the word, let's get 3 more. Valerie, I know have your name on your list.
Right. Thank you. Good. All right, yeah, if you're interested, please send an email to, you go to.
You can go to the town clerk
Or Woody.
Right.
Okay. All right, town clerk position. Discussion and possible appointment to the town clerk to fill the vacancy pursuant to 24 VSA 693. 63. Now, is there discussion, we've had interviews with Wesley Pollock, he's gone through, reference checks and background check. and has, very positive references. And so if we would like to make a motion, I'm just putting this out there, we can move that the select board can appoint, let's see. The select board can appoint Weston to serve as town clerk pursuant to 24 VSA 963 until an election is held. And direct the chair to execute the written appointment and have it recorded by the town clerk's office.
I'll second. Well, no, I'll abstain because I was part of the process. I'll move,
To that?
yeah,
I'll move to appoint Wesley Pollock to as town clerk pursuant to VSA 24/963 until the next town meeting.
Second time?
Any further discussion?
Okay. Specialist, that does have to go to the town clerk.
Exactly.
Okay.
There you go.
Brings his own forms. though.
I know. That's pretty cool.
Just, I take it the background check and that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Okay.
Wes, would you like to call the motion? So that we can, we're only
Only concern,
this.
yes, my only concern is this does have to go back pretty quickly. I know it's here right now and it does require your signatures.
Right, that's why we're doing
Yes.
this now.
Right.
And then, so we're appointing you and then we can all sign this and it will, and that will give you tomorrow.
So that's,
So you're starting tomorrow? Or you start?
starting tomorrow.
Any questions for us?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Not yet. I don't want to read that. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in.
Boy,
Yeah.
Okay. We did animal control. DFA's UDAC loan committee designate select board representative. Skip, please come forward.
I'm sitting back there, I didn't realize how boring this meeting is. And I'm not looking to get a.
What?
Before I start, I thought it would be good to kind of give you 5 minutes what INFUD and UTAG is. We like acronyms. So, when listening to Gary, INFUD, other than providing outstanding water and sewer services, also provides 4 very well-trained and dedicated firefighters from the INFUD staff that are available, 8 hours a day. So, that's one of your added benefits. With that, I put together a little handout from our INFUD annual report that's kind of a summary of things there. Well, I have enough to, everybody got it?
Yep.
I don't.
We can share.
So just briefly, I can do this in 5 minutes.
Awesome.
The UDAG is an urban development grant that the village of Waterbury applied for in '84 when Ben and Jerry's came and wanted to build their plant in Waterbury. We had to extend the village limits and the water and sewer. And they got a grant and then they repaid it to the village with interest. Usually it was $650,000. I don't know how much the interest was, Bill didn't know, but they paid us back in the quarterly payments probably over 5 or 6 years. And the current loan fund on the other side, you can assets, including the reserve and the outstanding loans, is about $1.9 million. So we've taken that $650,000 and through interest and investments, have built it up to 1.9 million. At the top is the loans that are current. I don't remember when the last loan was. It might have been Oak Street number 2 a year or two ago.
The front was the treehouse.
Oh, yeah, treehouse. Is that on here?
Yeah,
Anything else on there?
they're AMPS.
Oh.
Out there?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's the loans and the balance and, in the beginning, when we started, it was the village trustee, Bill Sheplock, and, he did the intake, you know, one would apply, he'd work with them, and then he'd bring it to the trustee. We would approve it and, set the interest rate and the repayment. We were also always usually in second or third position at the bank. We would ask them to go to the bank first, and the first choice to make a loan, and that we were in second or third, so we were usually taking used equipment as collateral. And things that, but it was to help, you know, businesses get going, and I think it's been, pretty successful over time, and gradually, as more and more, then we decided to kind of revitalizing Waterbury, being more active, and we started using them as a review committee to report to the trustees and develop some procedures. I don't know just when that started and involved, but now we've sort of formalized it on the website. There's procedures and set up a review committee with designated people on it. The RW, I'm not sure,
Economic development.
coordinator or director, I'm not sure which was sort of a salesperson for the loan, you know, kind of letting people know that we had it and bringing them, you know, applications to it. In the beginning, we only made loans to the village of Waterbury because that's who we were and since we became EFA, we could entertain applications from anyone in the town of Waterbury, and it's a tree string. You know, being in the EFA district thing, so, and then, you know, I think in, July of 24, they had, a vacancy on the committee, and when we were talking about it, we thought it would be good to have a position, a person from the Selectboard on the review committee, just to keep you in the loop and you know what was going on and you know, see the value of the committee. And we've talked from time to time whether we should give that, you know, loan to the Selectboard, whether we did things, and that's always in the back line. So we approved a motion to have the Selectboard appoint a person to be on the review committee and things, which was July 24. We did that. Roger came forward and has been on it sometime, you know, after July. I'm not sure when you really went on. It was before you became the director of RW. And I think you was the tree place loan the only one that.
Yeah, that's the only one that I've been involved with.
So that's the only application we've had. I think we have a recent application that work hasn't been done on, so. And we also appointed, we added a person at large to the committee. We asked for applications. We got 2. And we couldn't choose between, so we put them both on, that was Ann Roth and Rich Hayes, and they're added to, Charlie Grenier and John Zimmerman, we're also on the video along with, Gretchen, I think is your new coordinator there. So that's the, committee, we're gonna be updating, the procedures and things, getting more organized. Didn't pay much attention to it because we didn't have an application back then. And giving them, we appointed Ann and Rich to a 1-year term 2 years ago and haven't followed up with the terms which we would, get there. And, Tom had made some suggested changes which we haven't acted on and left, so we'll be updating those procedures, and the committee is required to follow the open meeting law because it's a committee appointed by me, but it therefore needs to, go through the agenda notice and things. So the question is that the select board has an opportunity to appoint someone to the committee, and it's not a big work to that said we haven't had an application almost 2 years, so and this is what it is, I'd be glad to.
So you have 3 RW people plus Roger is RW. You have John Zimmerman, Charlie Grenier, and Gretchen are all RW people. Is that?
Well, I'm not, it's the Waterbury area development committee, is that a subcommittee of?
It is now a committee of RW. It used to be independent, it's RW is like a big magnet, it just seems. So we have absorbed the Tourism Council of Waterbury and now since 2021, we've also absorbed the Waterbury Area Development Committee.
Charlie's been on for some time, hasn't he?
He's been on there since Ed Steele created the thing, as far as I know.
I
I'm
asked,
not sure about.
well, I asked John Zimmerman today, and he said, we got this, Steve Van Eason asked him to be on.
Well,
So there you go.
Ed Steele, Steve Anderson,
I
on
know,
the same team.
same category, yeah.
so anyway, that's the status, and it's open for you folks to select who you wanted. That was the way Bob Fanuka made the motion, was the select board with the designated Merrill member. We involved in we call it the intake, the loan review committee, they make recommendations, that's their they would come to us, with a recommendation, what for collateral, or maybe what interest rate and things, and the chair of the committee would be the district manager, which is, one of Woody's other duties here. I think to take on, so, anyway.
Yeah, and I don't wanna short you, but I also think there's a lot of representation from RW, and I'm wondering if there's anybody that's on the board that's interested in participating.
It's great pay.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I recognize that there's a lot of RW representation. I don't feel like I need to continue. You have a conflict of interest, which is already posted with the town. So I'd be happy to have someone else take this on. I think it'd be a healthy thing for someone else to do as representative of the select board.
I mean, I'd be happy to do it, with flexibility of interview.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a huge time commitment for
Yeah, it's only been
one
one.
application every other year.
Right.
Well, we hope that generate more interest, you know, we have
But
800,000
because it
dollars.
is the type of some water mile, it's 500.
It does have it.
You could have an alternate too.
There you go. I mean, if you can't make a meeting or something falls apart, why don't, I mean, I would make a motion to nominate Evan if he's expressing interest here. Can't think he's there.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody want to do that?
Roger, you're good at this.
Sure, I'll nominate, Evan Hoffman as the select board representative to the, UDAG committee.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Well, congratulations.
Can be in touch.
Yeah, he would be the one that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
Meeting on Thursday?
Well, we're just waiting this for the new, Thursday probably won't happen.
Okay.
That's,
all right. Entertainment vendor ordinance update.
We want to do the opioid settlement first.
What's that?
Zach Rounds is here from, the WASI.
Here.
What's the,
You want to do that before?
Yeah, this was.
Okay. Yeah.
This time.
That's Sandy's introduction.
Well, it's mine and Roger's actually, he
You
did a
did.
lot of work. So we, the town of Waterbury applied for and got, some settlement money from the opioid settlement, that's, you know, everywhere. The state also has a very large portion of it, and it's something that is paid out through, it's over the course of quite a few years. And we've already received some of the money. It's been sitting here. Right now we have 11,900 unless we've gotten more since then. There are different places that are giving up the money and what they have to send us every year up to the last one is up to 2035. The total amount that we are receiving will be 31,000, or projected to receive $31,111.76. And I sent an email to Pete Rounds about helping or working with them to come up with something so that WASA could be involved, and you know, we could have the money go to the ambulance service, because I think it's, you know, good for everyone. He came up with really good ideas, and I think he would like to talk about it.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Zach and I am chief over at Waterbury Ambulance. And so the proposal was to try and get creative about how to address public health needs, both opiate crisis, but also, you know, greater public health issues such as cardiac arrest maybe not induced by an overdose. So the reality is, like, the instance of EMS being called to an overdose in Waterbury Center is actually fairly low. There's been 8 instances in the last 12 to 13 months where we've been involved in the suspected overdose. And the way the dispatch data is compiled, they're not all overdoses. It could have been a poisoning, it could have been an ingestion. So I don't think the best use of the funds is to, you know, go out with the money and attack something that is only opiate. I think that there is a problem, you know, there's a problem all over the place, and this would definitely address it as best we can, but it'll also address things like sudden cardiac arrest on the tennis courts, which is something that have. So for relatively low cost, you know, utilizing the $11,905.53 that you already have, we could implement 4 public access AED stations within Waterbury. So these would be locked enclosures that are weatherproof and would
be required for you to call 911 to get the code, which is an anti-theft procedure that has been adopted by communities all over the country and all over the world, really. But they get electrically, they get, powered by AC current, and that keeps them heated during cold weather months. And these boxes that I spec'd out are capable of keeping the units warm enough in our climate, which is, why they're so expensive. My other thought is, beyond having an AED in those, obviously in an overdose, an AED may be necessary, to leave them down, they might be in a shock room, but also have lots of rescue kits, these public health stations, if you will, these public access stations that would increase the accessibility of the life-saving medication in the instance of an overdose. Having these stations wherever we end up putting them, they also open the door for putting a stop the bleed kit, in them, and lots of different tools. Couple of questions I got from people at the department were, like surrounding the units being locked and what level of concern there is for accessibility with that. The reality is, if somebody is accessing Narcan or an AED in a public setting, 911 should be contacted anyway. So there is a lot of local coordination with with Vermont State Police that would happen in advance. We would disperse the codes. We would also disperse the locations to the 911 centers, which would be available for all of the regional centers. And then the dispatch center can actually, in the event of a cardiac arrest, maybe somebody doesn't know there's an AED nearby, we'll see it on and be able to say, hey, if you just go 50 feet, due west, you'll find a AED station. So I think it would be a really good thing for Waterbury. I have no idea where we're going to put them. I think that would come to a group of people that know the community really well, and we could pull the fire department in and we could pull some data, figure out public access points that make sense. I think it also makes sense to figure out where there are AEDs already that are accessible, which I, to be honest, don't have a good handle on myself. And when I say accessible like 24 hours a day, you know what I mean? Not necessarily locked at night, because it's all hours. So happy to answer any questions.
One thing,
Describe, like, what does this kind of look like, or?
Yeah, so
On the building?
it depends. It's really catered to whatever we want to do, wherever it is. But it can be installed on the side of the building. It has an electrician would be involved, and they wire it into whatever. And it's a big yellow box with a door handle on it that has a keypad. It has lights on the inside that illuminate in the dark, so you can see it, if you're walking through a park. It says all over it, AED, call 911 for code. It's a very vibrant unit. You can't miss it. If you've ever walked in Richmond, they have one of these units in their park, right when you by that bridge there. So the AED is actually very small. It can sit inside of it, and I chose an AED that was on the smaller side so that other things fit around it in one box. There's lots of AED options, so.
And are these units designed for an untrained citizen to use? Whether someone would be able to open up a box and there's enough explanation that they'd be able to apply the tags and that sort of thing?
Yeah, all of the options that we would use in this application are self-explanatory. So you turn it on and it tells you everything. Even if you haven't done the CPR class before, you will be able to work your way through it. The other thing is 911 dispatch centers will talk you through it too. So you can just get to the AED most times, so that will successfully use it. Yeah, they're very.
So the same is true for the use of the Narcan?
The Narcan is, there's overdose rescue kits that we disperse to the public, or on calls.
and that goes over how to use the Narcan, we can definitely put those as part of the overdose rescue kits. It's sort of what I imagine is putting a small sip. It's like a maroon bag. It says overdose rescue kit on it. Inside there's a card that says, if you are experiencing someone that's having an overdose, this is what you need to do. First step is call 911. Next step is put it in their nose and push the button. So it's fairly simple.
I just wanted to clarify a couple things. First off, this is the initial funding, and hopefully with the funding that we're getting every year, we'd be able to resupply these boxes. The other thing is we're not asking for any money for this from the town. Hopefully, there's a lot of funding that is in the state that we can work on the forms. I'll work with.
Isn't this funding right there?
Yeah, but they probably will need more than that for restocking every year.
Well, I was gonna say just paying for the electricity on an annual basis. There's no annual operating costs,
Right.
which would be associated with it, so.
But all of that, and you can actually claim, the administrative fees if there is anything. So even if they have to do any administration, that can be claimed on the form that you send in as part of the state funding that they'll allow. There's, I want to say 35 million in the state funding already this year.
So,
Cover the next budget.
yeah, right, yeah. So is the process here to, figure out a process to, one, identify, I mean, I don't wanna jump the gun here, but if this is what we want to move forward with, these stations, I don't know if it's called stations, but
Yeah,
box.
we should probably work on some branding for it. I'm not exactly, public access,
Something, we can, is there a, like, someone's gotta decide where they're gonna go, somebody's gotta, work together with ordering the components, and is that, do we need a team to put together on that, or? Is that?
yeah, so like things like ordering medical equipment and that kind of thing, we do it all the time. We can handle that. If the town wants input as to where these are located, then I would expect you guys to give input. I expect to see the program once they're installed. I don't expect to, contact the electrician myself. Does that make sense?
Yes. very
Yeah,
much.
so how about like we order medical equipment almost every day,
Right.
so we're gonna be able to get any. All the stuff that goes with it.
So are you gonna, well, I think there needs to be a champion here to keep it moving forward and to work with Gary and to work with someone to identify where they would best be situated. I mean, I have my ideas, but they're in the center, they're not downtown, things like that, where you would spread them out. So I think, first of all, I want to say, I think this is great, and I really appreciate you coming here, because I think this is a great idea, you hit the nail.
You did all the work.
Yeah. So how do we take it to the next step, is my question.
So my thoughts on this were, hopefully to put something out there, on the website, on our website about the program, also in social media, and try and get it. I am not really sure how to do a survey, but I probably can figure it out, so that maybe give
A
us
survey for what?
to find out where people suggest putting these, because there should be input, I think, from, or even if we bring it up at the next meeting and put it out there as being something on the agenda, people, giving everyone until the next meeting to give input on it.
Good idea.
Somebody in the audience that maybe could help us out with it.
What?
But yeah, to be able to get the word out, Lisa, get the word out about the program. So, input from everybody, because they know best where it's needed.
Yeah, there are some logistics, right? Like
Right.
Waterbury Center is of concern because in a cardiac arrest, we are farther from them
Right.
now. Even here at Butler Street,
Mhm.
You know, the AED could have made it there sooner, and we were
Yeah.
there with 2 minutes being dispatched.
Wow.
So it's, you know, it just goes to show that anywhere is hurt.
Yeah.
That's why it's so common. But like in the center, there's a couple of places that I can think of that were.
Me too.
So I don't think they should all go in the center, and I also think that over time, the program could build and could use future, like, you're not gonna have to replace the AEDs every year.
Right, biggest ticket item.
Right, so you could potentially, you look at adding an additional station in the future if you find an area of concern, so I think there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, well, I would say you can start with 3 if you have to stay under that 11,000. Just to make sure your costs are real. I mean, I don't know, I'm just concerned about costs or. But anyway.
I think working with the
John?
fire department. Because they answer calls all kinds, and I know there are different kind of calls, but still they would have a sense of, you know, kind of where statistically things are happening.
Sure.
You know, and,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right. and, you know, concentration of population, travel routes, you know, the more.
For sure, yeah. Happy to work with Carrie and Sally on this.
So Sally would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you wanna stay, you're sort of the lead on
I'm
that.
having fun at it.
You're good, sounds like it.
Yeah, no, I have no problem.
Oh.
Could the town help identify an electrician? I don't know. As far as, once the ones are identified. Is that really?
You have to come back. to-
Right.
You know,
Yeah, we're gonna
you know,
need to know locations.
right,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
and installation.
So how about if you work with doing your public outreach, which I think is a great idea, by the way. And coming back in either the next meeting or the meeting after. With a after doing your survey and speaking with Gary and fire department and Zach and others. And make a proposal for where to put them.
Okay.
I'm trying to slip it by zoning. 'cause,
Well,
I know someone in zoning too.
Yeah.
My question wasn't even about that, it was more, it's here, does the resolution posted with the meeting materials have any bearing on this conversation?
I put it in there if we were gonna just make a decision tonight, but I don't know if we're gonna do that. That would be a resolution for the funding to authorize the, because we have to apply for it.
I was gonna do that.
Oh, then, yeah.
You have other discussion before we go through that?
Yeah, I was wondering, the application you mentioned there, made it sound like we would be pledging all of the future settlement money we get towards this project and towards like the replacement cost of these components and, whatever like it gets. Is it gonna cost that much? How often do you see this getting used? No, the upfront costs are like roughly a third of the total amount, and we're gonna need to spend all $31,000 on this in the next 10 years.
No. I think an AED could last 10 years. So it's, I don't think all the funding would be needed for these AEDs. If you decide that this program is really nice and you like what it does for the community and for the public health, then you could grow the program, and if you continue to start up additional AED stations, that will into the cost pretty dramatic. But the cost of replacing pads for the defibrillator, the cost of Narcan, the cost of like anything in a stop complete kit, that's not gonna come at 30 grand. 10 years.
And that stuff expires too, so it's not just sitting in there, they do have to, but it doesn't, they don't just get the money, it sits in the town's funds. And we, as they need it, they apply for it, but we're gonna get the money anyway, so the money will stay there, so to be able to use it longer than that, it'll be sitting there in the
Right.
fund.
Maybe I misread it, but it sounded like we were pledging all of the settlement money towards this program. However long it takes to go through it.
Well, that's what it says,
If we came up with
number 3.
some other program in the future. we
It's,
definitely-
so it's complicated for the, to be able to apply for this money, because even though it's not just us approving it, it has to go through the opioid committee to be approved. So we can't just say, yes, you can have the money. We have to get this whole program approved. Because we have to show that that this is addressing a need only for opioid, not only, but to help with opioid. So you would have to come up with another whole program and go through the whole process with the presenting it. So that's the reason for, whether or not we decided to add more, maybe because it is something that can be used, for life-saving.
So is this resolution something that's from the state, or did you write this?
No, I did this.
You did this? So that, which is very nice, thank you. To your point, I kind of agree with, what Evan is asking, and I just wonder if, number 3 could be, reworded to facilitate future select board authorization. I think to the point of, Evan, just to say that all the funds that come in are already committed is pretty open-ended, right?
If you take the word all out.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Well,
And then it just.
Then it's not all.
It's not all, it's just future funding can be offered for this project.
sure.
I'm not, to be honest, I'm not fully committed to anything about the future, costs of the program. If Waterbury wants to see additional programming in the future with all of its money, I'm happy to work with Waterbury on that. I don't have any further ideas at this time. That being said, I do predict that any future use of the funding is probably gonna go through our department.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily worried about that either.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I do appreciate what Evan is saying. I just wonder why we even need to put it in there. Quite frankly, why do you even need number 3 at all?
Well, because I don't want to stick it on them to have to come up with the money. If we're coming up with this, I want to let, the ambulance would get the funding to be able to keep this going.
Allow us
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
through one resolution, we get
right.
continued.
And
funding.
there's paperwork that has to be done every year to be filed and all that, and the ambulance would have to take care of that. So us giving them the money for this, it's kind of a way to help out with not just this, but be able to help out the ambulance too.
Just to take out the word all.
Yeah, I think just take out more than all of it.
And the other thing is too, they can get more funding. This is just Waterbury's portion.
Yeah, no,
So there can be, if we have another program, we can.
yeah, I agree, taking the word all out of it helps. Because later it says reoccurring stars, so. What's the board's pleasure? Roger?
I'll move to approve the resolution authorizing the utilization and assignment of opioid settlement funding for public access of the AED and overdose rescue station initiative.
With the modification.
With the modification of removing the word all in section 3.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Zach, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful program.
Thank you for your patience.
Thanks. So I don't have any way to print this.
Entertainment ordinance,
You can just cross out the all.
Yeah, I know, but I don't, do you have a
I
copy?
have a copy.
Oh, you're the best.
Yeah,
I didn't print
I'm the
that.
paper guy.
what's your pleasure on this entertainment ordinance?
Roger, would
What?
you like to white it out?
Yeah, it's like that.
I don't have any updates.
I'm afraid we're all too tired. Um. So there's gonna be, if this is something that's gonna move forward, there's going to have to be a process to make the ordinance, and statutory procedures to make it, an ordinance. And I was hoping that we would have a fee schedule, and more information about process. So it seems like it needs more work anyway. So maybe there's no action to be taken. Then we'll just table the discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know, Cheryl, I'm gonna take advantage of you being in the room. What would help the zoning department or, and you don't have to comment, between RW and, you. I think you guys have the most input about the vendor, and I don't know where you stand on the document. If you've had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did propose, in clean copy, that was, of the work that, both Cheryl and, Ariel Monlack, did on the, existing, food vendor, ordinance, which I think would be good to go. We just, wanted to add a seasonal, fee of $150. Because right now it's just a daily fee or an annual fee, and what would make sense for vendors in the, for the Thursday night concerts would be a seasonal fee.
Okay, so we're stepping backwards and we're breaking apart the entertainment and the vendor ordinances and keeping them separate. Is that what I'm saying?
Well, we could go that direction, or if there's a clean copy, I just have not looked at this
All right.
in the past couple of weeks, so.
There is a clean copy, it's posted, it was in with the agenda. I don't know, the parts that I know are missing, again, are the fee schedules and any concerns that RW would have with, the combined app. So,
The only piece that falls under zoning purview are signs and banners.
okay.
Which has nothing to do with vendors, really, because they tend to have their signs on.
Well, that's why it's really RW that had, the issues, and I agree. And then just the fact that the entertainment ordinance was talking about circuses and very, old items. I guess I would ask, to please look at the document, and if you have comments, come prepared. Leave it on the agenda, take no action tonight. Leave it on the agenda for next, we might not even have time on the next meeting, because I think it's housing, it's going to take a significant amount of time.
Well, we're gonna be meeting next week,
It's gonna be a wild month.
for the, interviews. And we could get, take a look at it by then. It's not-
Well, are you saying that the interviews are an executive session?
Yes.
Or meet?
Yeah,
You have to warn them.
Never have to, huh?
We just got it for that.
I don't know that we're gonna have time to talk about that, energy ordinance.
Not, well,
When we're doing 6 interviews, 5 interviews.
We'll do it, we probably do, 5 interviews. I'm not sure that this is that controversial.
I don't,
I don't think so either.
I don't think it is either, but I do think that it is an ordinance and people should understand what it says.
and it needs a public meeting.
Right.
So we can do something first.
But if we post it 24, 48 hours in advance, public,
I think if it's a special meeting, it needs to be 24, right?
We
Yeah,
could
but-
do it in 48 hours. if we
Oh, yeah. We have a new town clerk that can help us with that.
Right,
Yeah, I'm just worried, the 16th is, Joe is asking for just about an hour to talk about the housing task force stuff. So I just want everybody to be cognizant that that's gonna take up quite a bit of time. You can put it on there, you know, I don't know what else is gonna be there.
I'd just like to note that if an ordinance is going to be discussed and possibly approved, that it should be posted with the
Right.
materials. And it wasn't for tonight anyway, so
The ordinance wasn't posted?
I think so.
I don't think I got, that wasn't in the list of things that I got.
Oh, my apologies. All right, well, good, then we can't talk about, then there's no action. All right. So for anything else under the select board area, I don't think they're gonna be covered at all. For the next meeting, like I said, it's housing.
Did you send something for the next meeting?
Yeah.
The sheriff's contract.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
that's right, that's right.
Would you want the sheriff here, or do you just want to review the contract and?
Well, speaking of that, I sent you a revised, pre-scheduled attendance thing. The library wants to change their date and trade with the state police.
So did I come?
Okay, I sent it, I think, well, on the list of the agenda.
You want to send me an email and I'll update it?
It's already updated.
Oh, okay.
It was with the agenda, so it went to the whole board and with the draft materials. And, should be posted. Updated.
And NQID, did we already approve that or?
No, that'll be on the
Okay, so
agenda.
that's on the agenda too.
Be nice if we could get those items up further, so they don't have to wait for. I mean,
Like I said, I don't mind putting things up as we know, we want them, I can put them on the website so that people have time to. Yeah, that's up to you.
the NQID, isn't that was it on the consent agenda?
no. It's a special event,
The liquor bar.
the liquor one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe we could do it before the manager, we could start putting these in before the manager's report.
Right.
You know, that way people don't have to wait.
Mhm.
Although some show up later, they see the agenda in there for years.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure,
But I still think earlier is better.
I agree.
We used to put Shepard towards the end of the agenda.
Well, to your point, I think it's, library
Golden Cemetery lighting.
wants to move. Oh, wait, no, is that the updated one? Yeah, they want to
Yeah.
come in now
Updated.
before right, they want to come this time because. And can you reach out to the cemetery commissioners or somebody?
You want them all, or?
No, somebody, I don't know if
I
they,
see his brother almost every day.
all right, great. Just make sure somebody knows to come,
Okay, yeah.
that's all. Okay,
So this is one. Right?
there you go, that's it.
Yeah, you've got it, yeah. Yeah, I
That's
can
it.
send this to you, Cheryl.
When do we want the cemetery folks?
On the, for a second, see, 16.
June 16th, cemetery.
Is it Friends of the Library or Library Director?
It's the Friends of the Library, it's Anna Black,
Or library commission.
it's the Library Commission, not the Friends. Yes, sorry.
Was the
And she
library director
emailed me,
come and introduce herself?
you want her to come too?
I thought she was planning to at some point. I think I should-
Director?
Instead of 10.
She probably said.
I'll reply, and I told her that I thought this would be okay with the board, but I'll reply back and say, why don't you bring the new director?
Director.
And then we can do those first and do the housing. last.
Right,
You know,
right. All right. All right. So we have to warn, let's see. Special.
If the sheriff's contract is on the agenda for next.
For the 16th. For special meeting, what time is it? We starting 4:30?
Or three or four.
So do we have to, for every single one of them, we have to do a special meeting, right?
What?
If we're meeting on 5 different days, or whatever, we're only doing one day. Okay, and
5 half-hour sessions.
Okay.
After there for.
Okay.
Some
6:11. So what did he say?
6:10, we're meeting on the 10th.
I think we ended up on the 11th.
And Woody, you're gonna email the library thing.
The new director, Carol.
All right. Anything else?
Second.
Aye.
And this.
In favor, then.
I
Guys, aye.